guys, it's Tiffany with Spot On, and I wanted to create this video today to deliver a message I received throughout the day that brought me back to a place of love. Throughout the day today, I was reminded of that sneaky voice, the ego, and I was reminded to choose the voice of love, our authentic self, the true self, our soul, which is love. And to start with, I just want to share something very simple, a simple technique that can bring you back to that. And I'm just filled with love right now. So if I seem sort of dreamy, it's because I really have been in that space of just true love. I feel in love right now. I feel in love with life. I feel in love with, I'm feeling a lot of love. So it's a good feeling. So one way to bring you back to that space is just to simply breathe in love and breathe out fear. Breathe in love and breathe out fear. And just allow yourself to release the fear that's resonating in your body and the fearful thoughts that are playing over and over again like a broken record. And as you do that, breathe in all the unlimited love that the universe has to offer. Just keep breathing in love. So, let's do that together, and then we'll move into what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'm going to take a sip of tea. So you guys are joining me in my deliciousness on my couch, drinking my tea. It's so awesome. So good. Okay. So just take a minute to focus inward. And if you're not in a space to do this now, you can do it later. You can just watch me if you want. It may be kind of weird, but it's different when you do it yourself. Alright, so take a minute. Just kind of find your natural rhythm of breath. I like to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And just let it all go. We have all kinds of stuff going on in our lives, but let's just bring it to this moment. And just gently close your eyes. Take a few deep centering breaths just to bring you inside. You may have noises going on in the background or pending things over your head to do. The oven may be on. The door may be unlocked. Yes. That's okay. We're right here, we're right now. There's no sense of urgency here. And just breathe in through your nose and gently out through your mouth. And again, just breathe in. And out. Letting all the tension just sort of fade away. You may have a mind full of thoughts, and that's okay. Just allow them in and out like clouds. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. And as you breathe in love, envision beautiful pink light just kind of coming in through your nose and down into your heart, spilling out into your body, surrounding every part of you. And as you breathe out fear, this fear you're exhaling is just sort of releasing itself and being transformed back into a place of love. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Just gently say to yourself, either out loud or in your mind, in love, out fear. Over and over. And if you drift away, just simply bring your awareness back to your breath, breathing in love, breathing out fear. Okay, now gently just bring yourself back to this moment in time. Wiggle your toes. Bring yourself back into your body and you can flutter your eyes. Okay, so now that we're in a space of love, you can understand why I feel so dreamy. So I just wanted to make it really simple for you guys because sometimes we tend to complicate things. And I found this deal on Pinterest that was really interesting to me, and I loved it because as much as we do the spiritual work, sometimes we get so involved in the work and the struggle, I guess, that we forget that it's meant to be easy and simple and natural. And so we forget the most basic lessons, you know? So wherever you are on your path, I feel that this will help you. It helps me. And when I found this, it was neat because it was just a little gentle reminder of the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of love. So the ego, which is the false self, is what resonates with the voice of fear. This is our conditioning over time, our limited thinking, our limited beliefs that we've stored in our subconscious and we keep repeating over and over again. These thoughts manifest themselves into bad feelings. The feelings create an energy that creates our reality that we may not really like, and we create patterns that we don't like in our lives. The soul, the true self, is the voice of love. It's underneath all that conditioning, all those layers upon layers of limiting beliefs that we've acquired over a lifetime, or maybe even lifetimes. So when we peel back those layers by witnessing the voice of love and the voice of fear, we find our true selves, our true source, the source that we come from, which is only love. And we realize that all of these things we've created are illusions. And the only thing that's real is love. So fear is an illusion. So I wanted to read this thing I found on Pinterest. it's a list of the ego versus the soul, the false self versus the true self. And you may have heard different phrases for each of these. Sometimes I hear the soul or the true self described as the higher self or the intuition or inner guidance. But inevitably, this is our authentic self, our true self. And the ego, the false self. So, I'll read this list to you just so you can kind of start to witness within yourself which one are you resonating with. Because you can only serve one master. And it's either the ego or the soul. And a lot of times our ego is that loud, nagging voice, and our intuition, our true self, is that soft voice in between the glimpses of fear that we feel that reminds us who we really are. A way to get back to that true self, that voice, is by witnessing the thoughts that we have. And a lot of times that's based in our conditioning, but we're just going to start with witnessing. So we have the ego and we have the true self, and I'll go ahead and read it because I have a lot to say on this. I mean, we could go on and on, really. So I'm not sure who wrote this, but I just thought it was absolutely, it was right on. And if you guys have heard of this, you may have, maybe you saw it on Pinterest, maybe you have heard it somewhere else or seen this somewhere else. I'm not sure who wrote it, because it didn't really have like an author or anything, so I am just going to read it, and hopefully it resonates with you like it did with me. So first, we have the ego, and the ego is about me, whereas the soul, the true self, is about we. Then the ego, separation, but the true self is about unity. The false self, the ego, is about blame, whereas the true self is about understanding. The ego, hostility. The soul, friendliness. The ego, pride. The soul, love. The ego, complain. The soul, gratefulness. The ego, jealousy. The soul, co-happiness. The ego, anger. The soul, happiness. The ego, power. The soul, humble. The ego, materialism. The soul, spiritualism. The ego, madness. The soul, wisdom. The ego, war. The soul, peace. The ego, coldness. The soul, sympathy. The ego, past future oriented. The soul, now oriented. The ego, intolerance. And the soul, tolerance. The ego, self-important. And the soul is we important. Ego, egoism. Soul, altruism. Ego, self-denial. Soul, self-acceptance. Ego, social intolerance. The soul, social acceptance. The ego, living up to this and that. The soul, simplicity. The ego, doing. The soul, just be. Once I went for a walk and I had a lot on my mind. In fact, my ego was telling me a lot of bullshit. And, excuse my French. Sorry if that offends you. But it really was. It was, saying a lot of things that were not true and reminding me of a lot of things that didn't make me feel good. And I wasn't getting a lot accomplished because I was just going around and around and around in my mind. So at this point, I recognized it was my ego at play, and I decided to just go for a walk. Sometimes you just have to take your ego for a walk. And I was fighting it, I was struggling, like, ego, rah. But then I realized I'm not going to resist this ego anymore, because what you resist persists. What you put your attention on grows. And so I just decided, I'm going to allow this in without judgment. I'm just going to allow this voice to come in, and I'm going to let it have its way of saying whatever it is it wants to say. Doesn't make it real. And I'm not going to pressure myself to figure out which one's the ego and which one's this and da, right? So it started in, and I went, that's interesting, from a non-judgmental point of view, because the ego likes to judge. And I just witnessed it. And as I witnessed it, that voice diminished. Because as soon as I heard it, I realized how ridiculously silly it was, and I could actually laugh at it. It was contradicting itself by telling me one thing and then beating me up for doing that thing or not doing that thing or whatever. It was contradicting. And I just kept going, well, that's interesting, because that's not true. And I started choosing more life-affirming thoughts for myself. And that's all it is. It's just a pattern. It's just something that you picked up, a message, maybe when you were younger, and it's just repeating itself. It could be a situation that happened when you were 3 and you developed a feeling that you were unworthy. And so it just kept playing out. And underneath all of these thoughts, all of these fearful motivations, you are hearing in your subconscious mind, I'm unworthy, I'm unworthy, I'm unworthy, I'm unworthy. When you can uncover that, you realize that your natural state is worthy. You are worthy. then you start to shift your thinking and your feelings. And then your feelings help create your reality. So, just to keep it simple, sometimes we get so caught up in the way we're manifesting and all of these spiritual practices and taking on so much, as students. Sometimes it's good to just get back to basics and just witness our thoughts. And choose love. Choose love over fear. So, I hope that helps you guys. Lots of love. And peace be with you. Always in my heart.